moment. So he has to leave his lane, and when he leaves his lane, what it's simply going to mean is that Nevermore is going to get a lot of free farm going. I'd much prefer to see this Pugner versus Nevermore lane going off here, and maybe just leaving this Omni Knight to solo against a Clockwork is terribly difficult for the Clockwork, but neither of them is probably going to get any kills. That being said, so maybe they can just, you know, trade off farming. Yes, it does risk the fact that your Omni Knight gets farmed, but it does mean that, in fact, your Nevermore is going to get hulled down a lot better, and this Pugner will be able to hold him back a bit. However, what happened instead is this Clockwork stood in the middle lane, can't do much against the ranged, you know, Nevermore, dealing 100 damage per hit, and got, you know, a lot of raises in the bag. So that's not really going to be helpful here. See, let's doing some creep pulling in bot here. Pugner is going to go try kill Dread here. He simply pops a repel and a heal and just TPs out of there. So he's got a lot of survivability. Clockwork Goblin really isn't going to be able to take on that Omni Knight now. Once he's got that level 4 heal, it's simply going to destroy him whenever he hooks in. A bit of a break in the game here. So the team strategy for God seems to be very confused at the moment. Why do I say it's confused? I say it's confused because they have some tanks, like this Clockwork, who's a mid-early game tank. We do have a Lich, which is a bit of a tank. Pugner, which is semi-tank. But they do also have magical damages, so we have some tanks, we have some magical damages in terms of Pugner, in terms of Lich, that sort of thing. And then we have one physical DPS here in the form of Morphling. So really they're not saying, okay, we're going to go a DPS team or we're going to go an AoE team. We do see an initiation coming in here, Pugner running in, not going to be able to do anything, pulling off his heal, but is he? Oh, he does survive there. Oh, tree spawn just in time and he's trapped. Whoa, did you see that? Tree's trapping the Pugner over there. Crystal Maiden is just in there in time. Actually, Pugner is going to make it out of there alive. Wave comes in and everyone's just backing out of this. There's many people on super low HP, but no effective kills being pulled off here. Why are there no effective kills being pulled off? Well, like I was trying to say, we have a Morphling. Morphling's probably going to go down here. Is Morphling going to go down? We're going to see a blast. Oh, no, we don't. In fact, we see God picking up a double kill, but DTS, the Nevermore picking up one kill. We're going to see no, we're not going to see a raise killing off there. So trade and 2 kills being picked up by God, then 1 being picked up by the Nevermore, simply because they were split up there a bit and isolated. But the reason why we didn't see any kills going down in the early game is that we have a lot of magical damage being laid down, and then, you know, it stops. And then physical damage comes in, and then it stops. And, like, there's a tank, but it's not really so tank. He's not really drawing much focus fire. So in terms of God's play, we're not seeing any sort of high team synergy. They have a very mid-game lineup with, you know, this Pugner, with the Clockwork, that sort of, with the Lich, and then you have one late game hero, sorry, being the Morphling. So there's also lack of synergy here there. For DTS, however, there seems to be much better synergy. They seem to be a very team battle focused team. They also seem to be a much better, more focused on the mid and late game. Yes, they do have the Vengeful Spirit and the Earthshaker for early game. They do have early game ability, but both of them transition very well into the mid and even into the late game, helping out quite a lot. And when it gets to this mid-late game, this Omni Knight, this Nevermore, the Earthshaker, and the Potom, as well as the Vengeful Spirit, do work exceptionally well together as a team and can pull a team battle. So the team strategy for DTS seems to come together a bit better than it comes for to God. We do see a swap going here onto the Clockwork. We do see Double Rage going to pick him up here. The ultimate of Lich just going onto Vampire, but Vampire sacrificing his head to give his Nevermore a kill. That is definitely worth it. And this mid tower is probably going to go down quite soon. Arrow flying in, arrow here, not hitting anyone. So Light's not doing so well as a Potom at the moment. Picking up a wand and hasn't even got trade yet in 12 minutes, so that's not too good for him. We're going to see Morphling rallying on the bottom tower here. You're going to do another quick creep check. We've got 23 creep kills on the Clockwork, 51 on this Morphling, 65 on Pugner, 67 on the Nevermore, 16 on Light, and 37 going to Dread. So pretty even at the moment. Mid tower going down, just picking that up in time. Does go, however, go to the Scourge, not to any one of these heroes. But because of the presence of Omni Knight now, he's got his boots up and his magic wand and his soul ring. The survivability is so high that really the Sentinel team is going to struggle to win any successful, any major team fights at the moment. In the early game, DTS denying a tower here, but in the early game, DTS is ready to going to try and farm up survive, and with using the ES, the Earthshaker, and the Omni Knight as a team, as team heroes, to allow this Potom and allow this Nevermore, specifically this Nevermore, to farm up a lot. And then in the late game, they're really going to try pull off teamed fights, and in this mid game specifically, they're going to try use razors, fishers, heals to try pull off successful pull. We're going to see a double raise picking off that Morphling. So stun double raise just being absolute nightmare here. And we do see Pugna coming in to try and support that. We do, and this ward being laid down here doing super lots of damage. Omni Knight coming just in time to heal that Vengeful Spirit. We do see this Lich being expertly trapped here. Is this Lich going to go down? People being whacked all over the place. People running around like a maniac here. Pugna's going to try to get out of there alive. We do see an ultimate cost being cast by Crystal Maiden, but a heal does go off from Dread, catching that Lich. We do see Earthshaker here. Is he going to make out of there alive? We do see an ultimate being popped just to make sure that Earthshaker survives. Repel did go on him to stop that Lich, to stop the Crystal Maiden's ulti, and Dread picks up a double kill. Clockwork running around now. He's going to maybe try pull off a hook. Are we going to see a hook going off by Clockwork? Hook going by Clockwork. Hook. No hook. Oh, hook. Oh, we do see a hook. Hook expertly catching that Nevermore. Nevermore does go down now. Morphling running around, transitioning a lot of HP, agility to HP. We do see Dread now. Dread is going to go for the trades now. Clockwork, you cannot stand close to an Omni Knight. Look at that reason. I mean, and a waveform is probably going to come in here. Ultimate. Oh, Dread is back. Dread is back. Catching that. You're putting on repel just in time, cancelling that Lich's. Vampire saying exactly what I said. Dread is back. So Dread popping that repel just in time to cancel Lich's ulti, saving his teammates, and just TPing out of there, being an absolute baller. And that is why Omni Knight is so good. Free BKB, free team hero. Free team survivability for like 6 seconds in any circumstance, and just a heal that deals a crap load of damage. Pure damage, I must remind you. And so this Potom, even though she isn't getting so much farm at the moment, she's sitting at 28 creep kills. The number of towers that... Ooh, you're leaping out of the way here. Pugna does get the tower, but just in time, Vengeful Spirit TP's in. We do see an arrow hitting from light, so great play there, leaping out of the way, dodging that blast, and then laying down an arrow just in time for Vampire to arrive, and then heal going off on Potom, putting her to full HP from the Omni Knight, but just in time, and then this Vengeful Spirit laid on the stun as well, and that was all overs for that Pugna. Got in the early game, really should have tried to put a lot more early game pressure onto DTS. They needed more early game pressure. They needed to be a lot more aggressive in terms of pushing. They needed to try and divide DTS's team and try and conquer them. Try to pull off more early game team fights. Use this Clockwork. Use this Pugna to your advantage. Yes, it's only 16 minutes now, but everyone's sort of hitting, your mid-game levels. So you see a swap on Crystal Maiden going down. This is why I don't like Crystal Maiden. She's basically a free ancient camp running around on about 1 HP that you can just one hit and then gives you 250 gold. That's basically what she is. So Crystal Maiden, like I say, don't really like Crystal Maiden at the moment. Pugna TPing in. Pugna, what are you doing? Pugna tries to go here, gets stunned, double stun. Ultimate being popped here. She just goes down to Dread. Dread is now on a dominating streak. Ward goes down. Clockwork's running around here, but he's just going to get healed to death. We do see Light leaping in here. Morphling might go down. Is Morphling going to be able to waveform out? Morphling is not able to waveform out here. Dread picks up a triple kill here after stopping Lich's ulti, so he's absolute nightmare to deal with at the moment. And look, I mean, the sense of this DTS is just happy to run around in pretty low HP in team fights because they're not worried about the synergy being able to be pulled off by God, because there isn't that much. And this Omni Knight at the moment is just going to heal everyone to basically full HP with one spell. And yeah, pretty much it's not looking like very successful, or not looking very nice for God. Like I was trying to say, they should have already been much more aggressive in this early game. They should have pushed towers with a Clockwork, with a Lich, with a Morphling, with a Pugna. You should be pushing towers, not being pushed. And I think the reason you pushed is that firstly you let a Clockwork solo against a Nevermore. You don't have the roaming capacity that an ES and a Vengeful Spirit has, and you have a Crystal Maiden who's basically just free feeding people, because that's how you're playing Crystal Maiden in these sorts of games. Yes, so that was their early game strategy. It should have been to push harder. The late game strategy also doesn't look very nice, because they've got a Clockwork and a Pugna who can sort of tank, and then they've got a Morphling who they're solely relying on as their DPS outputter. But just so I can point this out to you, we're going to see Nevermore picking up his BKB at the moment. So do another quick creep check. 119 creeps going to DTS G on the Nevermore, 52 going to Dread here, 34 going to Light. So Light slowly getting up these creep kills here, 84 going to the Pugner, 80 going to Muga, and 39 going to this Clockwork. But like I was saying, you're relying on this Morphling. Where's this Morphling? Morphling to be all soul DPS output in the game here, and he's only dealing 90 damage, and he's picking up a Lincoln Sphere first because he's super defensive, and that's how they've been playing him. So relying on a Morphling as being also sole physical output damage in this game, not so effective, especially when you're going against an Omni Knight with decent attack damage, a Nevermore with decent attack damage, and a Vengeful Spirit with decent attack damage, as well as a Potom. You know, like, that's a lot of physical DPS that you got to deal with, and you have no countermeasures to that. Hatred being picked up here, and this Omni Knight is going to go for Necro Book. I can't micro Necro Book so successfully myself, not sexily myself, but against a Pugner, against a Clockwork, it's a really great item, and I'm going to love to see it being used here by Dread. Seeing as Dread is back in black, he is going to be probably winning the game here for DTS. We do see a swap coming in onto the Clockwork. Clockwork just eliminated here, an ultimate being popped off by Nevermore. We do see Repel going off now onto that Earthshaker. Earthshaker slams in here. A picks up a kill here. Light picks up a kill on the bottom. So Light's going to be quite a ball here. He's going to be picking up his Mantis Star quite soon, and this mid tower is in fact going to go down. So the ultimate of Omni Knight, heal of Omni Knight, ultimate Fissure of Earthshaker, and this ultimate from